Hey everyone, Michael Zapersky here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. For those of you in Canada, happy Canada Day coming up. Happy 4th of July to everyone in the US. And for the rest of you and all across the world, I just hope that you're having a wonderful day, that you and your family are healthy and well, just with everything going on. So I wanted to jump on and do this quick live to share with you a really important topic about how to see things and how to look at your business and your lifestyle and what you're creating. And this is a really important video. So I'm going to break down a couple of concepts and where this came from. I was actually having a conversation with Simon Bowen just the other day for the Consulting Success podcast. And I've had the opportunity to speak to Simon a couple of times and always enjoy the conversation. But in that conversation, something came out actually after we record the podcast where we talked a little bit about how people are currently managing their businesses, and where we see a lot of people, not really optimizing appropriately or not optimizing to their full potential. So what I'm going to do is break down a couple of models here, a couple of ideas that I hope will be really beneficial for you. They've certainly been beneficial to me and to our business over the years, and in fact, multiple businesses that we've had over the years. So for those of you joining right now, I've actually had a little bit of an issue with LinkedIn Live. So if you're joining in from LinkedIn, just go ahead and type in and let me know that you're you're joining from LinkedIn. I would really appreciate that, so that I'll know the tech issue there is solved. And if not, then we'll look into it. But and those of you on YouTube as well right now, just hit a comment, hit subscribe, let me know that you're here, and I appreciate that. So let's get right into it. What I want to break down for you, and the statement that I made when I hit live today, is that your business should support your lifestyle and not the other way around. And I know that there's some semantics, and you could kind of twist that and make the opposite actually sound positive. But really what I'm getting at here, and in my conversation with Simon that we really dove into, was that there's so many people out there right now that have created this business. Hey, Danny, great to have you, and Mark as well. Okay, I'm good. Glad to hear that LinkedIn is working. So thanks very much. Appreciate that. So there's a lot of people out there that have built this business, right? You work really hard, you take risks, you take chances. Hey, Mark, great to see you. And then what ends up happening is you realize that you're working so hard that you've had to adjust your lifestyle and everything that you do, and how you structure your time with family and all these other things that are really meaningful for you. You've had to make sacrifices to support your business. And that might be fine for a short period of time, and especially when you're getting going at the start, right? It's quite normal to have to work a lot harder and just to hustle a bit more to get things going, to get more feedback from the marketplace. But really, if you look at the question of why did you start your business? What is your goal with a business? It's likely not just to have a business, right? It's to create a lifestyle for yourself. It's to be able to spend more time with your loved ones, to travel the world, to have more, more impact, more freedom, and to serve more people in a meaningful way. Not to have this burden of a business that takes over your life and that really restricts you from doing the things that you want, or spending your time with people that you want, or impacts your health, or creates overwhelm, or too much stress, or too much anxiety. So with all that being said, right, the opposite is really to structure your business in a way that supports your lifestyle, rather than having to change your lifestyle to support your business. Does that make sense to everyone? For all of you on here live, just hit the comments, or those of you also checking afterwards, I'll check the comments afterwards. Let me know, does that make sense? You kind of follow along with what I'm saying there? It'd be helpful if you let me know. And so let me break this down. The first model that I want to look at, and then I'll get into the actual specifics around what you should be thinking about and how you can actually start to craft your business in a way that supports your lifestyle. So let's break this down. Hey, Roy, great to have you. So the way that I kind of visually want to think about this to start, and again, I know Simon, being the models guy, can break this down much better, but is that your lifestyle should be at the top, right? And at the base is your business. So everything that goes into your business, all the different factors, which I'll break down in a moment, right, that you have going on. And of course, there's multiple different factors, right? But all these different factors that are going on in your business should ultimately support your lifestyle. The problem, right, is that many people have the reverse going on, where their lifestyle, right, will be, I'll just say, let's just say life, there we go, or let's fill it in, why not? Their lifestyle will be down here. And so their lifestyle is having to work so hard to support what they have in the business. But this is not what you want, right? If you do that, then what you're going to find is you're going to start saying things like, oh, I don't have time to spend with my kids. I don't have time to, exercise. I don't have time to read a book. I don't have time to travel. I don't, whatever, fill in the blank, because what is always first and foremost for you is your business. And of course, your business will likely always be your main focus. And that's totally fine, right? That makes sense. I know for me, it's a big focus for me. But I've structured my business, and I'll get into how to start thinking about that. I've structured the business, and of course, the team plays a big role in this, and I'll talk about that. But I've structured it so that it supports my lifestyle. And so now going back, I've been building consulting businesses for about 20 years, but about 11 years ago, we started Consulting Success in its first version. And when Sam and I, cousin and co-founder Sam, we have lots of clients named Sam as well. But when we started the business, even before it was a business, even before it was making money, we did it with this idea of, okay, we're running some other businesses right now, but let's think about creating something online. And we wanted to do that because we want to be able to travel. I wanted to be able to spend more time with family overseas. I wanted to just have more freedom. And so all the choices that we made around the business had that end goal in mind. And so as a result, we've created that, right? We've created that many years ago and been able to enjoy that. But you first want to get very clear about, what lifestyle do you want to have? What is your desired outcome? What does success look like for you here, right? And so there'll be different factors here. You're going to want to be thinking about your health. You're going to want to be thinking about money. You're going to be thinking about time with family or hobbies or what is most meaningful for you. And then when you've locked in, you've got really clear about, what's happening here, right? Then you look at your business and you start thinking about all the different components that are involved in the business, and you check them or you kind of cross-reference them, right? You overlay them with your lifestyle goals and what you want to actually achieve. And so then you have a really good match between what you are doing and having that support your overall lifestyle. But if you aren't clear about what you want with your lifestyle, then it's very hard to create a business that supports that. And that's why I see so often consultants and people who will just be working heads down in the business, right? Really hard, not looking up, not thinking about their lifestyle, not thinking about their long-term goals, not thinking about their family, loved ones, their health, their wellness, all of that well-being. And then they wake up one day or they look up and go, whoa, like what have I created? I've created this monster. I've created this burden. I've created something that I'm not feeling like I'm really being fulfilled with or in. And so now let's move on to the difference. Does that make sense, everyone? Let me know and just hit yes in the comments there, or feel free to jump in if you have any questions about this. I'll try and kind of watch the comments as I'm going through here and take the questions that you might have. But let's now start to talk about it. So what are the factors? And so I've identified 6 specific factors that you can, and I would suggest you should start really thinking about when it comes to ensuring that you have a business that supports your lifestyle, not the other way around. And so the first is your model, right? Think about what model are you currently using in your business, and does that support what you want? So as an example of that, you might right now be doing a lot of heavy one-on-one work with clients that requires a lot of customization. And a lot of, you might feel that you're the only person that can really be doing that. And so now it's very hard for you to create more freedom because you're spending so much time doing all this customization. You compare that to, for example, a model where maybe there's a lot more productization or a lot more systems in place. And so you've created more leverage from that where you don't have to always recreate because you're doing less custom work. I'm not saying that one model is better than the other because it all depends on your lifestyle, right? And what's meaningful for you. Another example of a model would be the team model, where you are having a lot of different contractors or associates or consultants, right? Employees, otherwise that are delivering work for you or involved in the business. And you might look at that and go, okay, that's great. I want that because I want to create more scale, or I want to not have to do all these different things myself. But the downside potentially of that is that you're finding yourself doing a lot of management and you don't enjoy managing other people, right? A lot of our clients often kind of get out of the corporate world because they're tired of managing. They don't want that burden. They don't want that responsibility or that level of stress anymore. And so they'll start off often by doing things themselves, but they will come to realize that the next part here, right, is that you can't do everything yourself. It's very rare. There's very few people who can really build a successful business 100% by themselves. And I would argue that if you're trying to do that, you're wasting your time. You're spending then a lot of time on lower valued tasks and activities where you can create a lot more leverage by identifying people that can help you. And these don't have to be full-time people, right? They don't have to be employees. They can be contractors, freelancers. They can be other services, vendors, right? Different, essentially different people or different technologies or services, right? Assets that help you to create more leverage. And so here, one way to really gain back or to have more control or to reach your desired goals with your lifestyle and have your business support your lifestyle is not to try and do everything by yourself. And I know a common concern, and feel free for everyone that's on here right now, type in, what concern do you have around team? But I know one common concern that people bring up is, well, I don't yet necessarily have the money yet, or I'm going to wait until I land that next client to bring on more people, or, it's going to take me longer to try and train someone, so I might as well just do it myself. And while that makes sense when you first kind of think about that, the reality is that if you really consider it, anything that you're doing more than once is something you should put off to somebody else, because even though it might just take a little bit of time, of your time to do, let's say it's taking 30 minutes of your time, but it's not your highest and best use of time. Well, that 30 minutes, and that might be even 30 minutes a week. Right now, we're talking about 2 hours a month, right? We're talking about 20 plus hours a year. Well, if you dedicated that specific time to going out and engaging in meaningful conversations with ideal clients, could you land a new client? Right? Could you create more value by creating content? Could you develop more intellectual property? Could you create more systems? All things that have higher levels of value attached to them. And then if you really look at it, the time that you're currently spending doing the 30-minute work or whatever it is yourself, right? The value of that could be that you could get someone to do the exact same level of work for $30 an hour, or $40 an hour, or $50 an hour. But your value, even though you're not working on an hourly basis, right? Or hopefully not, your hourly value would likely be $200 or $500 or $1,000. And so you're actually losing money by trying to do everything yourself. So another big consideration in addition to models. So if we say, these are no particular order, but I'll just order them here and number them so it's a little bit easier to follow along, hopefully. The second consideration is team. Now, the third consideration is offers. And what I mean by offers is kind of related to what I talked about with the model, which is that you can use multiple different types, or you can have multiple offers. What a lot of people do is they create a lot of complexity in their business by having too many different kinds of offers. And so what I would suggest, or just offer for you to consider, is what kind of offers do you have right now? Are you creating and are you using offers that have a lot of leverage in them, right? Where you're using and leveraging systems and processes and tools and so forth, or people to deliver them in a more effective way. But this is where I see a lot of people that actually have this flipped, where their business, right, is really taking over their life, and they're having to make sacrifices with their lifestyle to support their business because they've crafted offers where they're delivering too much, or they're too involved in the delivery, or they're just focusing on the wrong things in their offers. And so therefore, they're having to sacrifice a lot of their lifestyle and time with loved ones or otherwise, just doing things they shouldn't be doing because they don't have the right offers in place. So this is an area that you definitely want to make sure that you have well-defined, leverage-focused, and profitable offers in place. And if you got further questions about any of this, feel free to reach out and I can talk more about it. But then the next is price point, right? So how are you charging right now? And this is one area where a lot of people are leaving money on the table. You may be leaving money on the table right now simply because you are undercharging. And undercharging is not just connected to the price that you're charging. It's how you communicate that value, right? It's how you engage with people and really work through that conversation so that they can see the value in what you're doing, right? Where you're focusing not just on the inputs and the deliverables, but much more on the outcomes, the results, the value, and the meaning of what you're doing and the meaning that it has on them, or the cost of inaction if they don't move forward with it. So when you get really clear on how to communicate value and how to identify the return on investment and what the meaning is for the buyer, then you can move beyond being a commodity, right, to really creating and delivering something of value, which people are then willing to pay significantly more for. And so here's the interesting part about this, that when you are able to do that, when you know how to do that, when you have learned the right approach to doing so, you can start making more by offering the exact same thing. I mean, we've had many clients who, as an example, maybe their average project value is $50,000, and through reworking it now turns into $150,000 or $200,000 for essentially spending the same amount of time. We've had others that maybe had a discovery offering that was priced around $5,000, and now it's at $12,000 or $15,000. They're doing the exact same amount of work or even less work because they've been able to create more leverage and better systems and processes within it, but they're able to earn more, right? Because simply they've learned how to communicate greater value around that. They've learned the techniques, the approaches to have now more confidence that allows them to go into those conversations with buyers, say the right things, ask the right questions, right? Position things the right way. And so now they're just making more money. And talk about how to create a business that supports your lifestyle. Well, pricing is a huge one, right? Because if you're not pricing appropriately, then you're losing money on every engagement. And so now you're having to spend more time to create more money, right? And that's taking away from your lifestyle or taking away from time with loved ones or hobbies or travel or whatever it might be that is meaningful for you, maybe involved in your community. The fifth, and this is a really important one, which is your setting of expectations, right? I see a lot of people coming into the consulting business who have transitioned from the corporate world or right being an employee. We have a lot of people who reach out to us in those situations, and quite often, especially when you're new, it's understandable. And so I have a lot of empathy, and I know what people are going through when they think that there's certain expectations that I've seen this other consultant, they're charging on an hourly basis, or I've seen all these other people and they only bill when they do these things, or so on and so on. And so they apply what they've seen others doing, and they use that, they set that as an expectation for themselves. And really what they're doing is they're holding themselves back, or they're holding themselves down because they're not living, or they're not applying and taking action to their full potential, right? They've made assumptions, they've set these expectations based on somebody else's reality, but somebody else's reality doesn't have to be your own reality, right? That's actually the beautiful thing about the consulting business, that when you have the right system and mindset in place, you truly can create whatever you want, right? If you want to engage deeply with clients and work very closely, one-to-one in a customized way, you can do that. If you want to do everything 100% virtually and work with clients all around the world, you can do that. If you want to work in a very specific kind of niche, area of specialization, you can do that. If you want to go more broad, you can do that. It might be more challenging, but really whatever you can see and whatever, you can build a good plan around, as long as you have the right strategies and tactics and, the right level of commitment to it, you can achieve it. So why set your expectations low? It's like there's a great saying. This is not necessarily, I guess I'm kind of paraphrasing. I'll just share the idea, but it's just as hard to land a small client as it is to land a big client, or it's just as hard to build, $1 million business as it is, let's say, a $2 million business, or just as easy to build a, $1 million business as it is to build a $500,000 business, or right. So there's all these kinds of sayings out there, and they're often true, right? That the effort that it takes to create something that might be here, and the level of effort that it takes to create something here there's not that much more effort involved. The big difference is knowing what you need to do, and then having the right mindset and the belief and the commitment, right, to actually just go beyond here to reach that next level. But most people set their expectations around, oh, my hourly fees should be this, or I need to use hourly, or I need to work in this specific way, or, this is what someone else is doing, so I can only do this, right? And then they're not seeing the potential to go to that level. So expectations is really important when you think about crafting a business that supports your lifestyle and not the other way around. And then finally, for today, there's a lot more factors than this, but these are 6 big ones that I want to share with you quickly, is growth. And so, I've written about this on the site on consultingsuccess.com and several different articles over the years. But this idea around growth, these days people talk a lot about this. They talk about scaling, and they talk about, growing multi-million-dollar businesses, and they throw these big numbers and blah, 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 blah. Right. What a lot of people don't tell you is that when they're talking about their growth or their level of revenue, right, that's their where they're saying X amount of dollars. They're talking about revenue, top line. They're not talking about what they're actually making and taking home. And so everyone's different, right? Some people have aspirations to build $100 million or $1 billion business, or take their company public, or whatever, something like that, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone should choose and go down the path that is most meaningful and right for them. But others are much more interested and satisfied, and what they find desirable is to simply create a business that supports their lifestyle. There's high levels of profit, great margins, allows them to do the work they love doing, creates lots of freedom for them, flexibility in their schedule, the opportunity to travel, the opportunity to spend more time with loved ones, or to be involved in different nonprofits or communities, or whatever it is that is like whatever is meaningful for them. They've set up their business to allow them to do that. And so they're not interested in managing a team of 50 or 100 people or more. They're not interested in going through rounds of investments and funding and doing that whole path. And so the important thing here is just to figure out what is right for you. And in our case, and for so many of our clients, right, it's about creating a growing business that is highly profitable, that allows us to do the things that we want to do that are meaningful for us in our life. And so for me personally, right, that's having a very positive impact with the clients that we work with closely, helping them to see greater and greater results. It's about creating financial freedom, right? So that I can continue to travel with my family, spend time with my family, go wherever we want, whenever we want, aside from kids in school and stuff like that. But really not to have to think about money. To get that for me is the definition of financial freedom, where you're able to enjoy that. And so that's what we've established. That's what we've built. That's for me what is meaningful. It's to have a great business that does great work, that is meaningful for me and for everyone that I'm involved with, right? To work with a great team, which we have. So these are the things that I really focus on. And so really what I want to suggest to you is, like when you talk about growth, what does that mean? Like, are you just thinking growth for the sake of growth because that's the buzzword of scaling and that's what everyone says you should be doing? Or have you gotten very focused and intentional around what does meaningful growth look like for you? What do you want to achieve? And then once you've identified what that is, then do you have all the other components, the model, the team, the offers, the price points, your expectations, the systems, the processes, all these other, the marketing, do you have all that in place to ensure that your business and all the elements of the business actually support your lifestyle, right? Or are you just hoping that somehow things will work out, right? And it's the other way around, where your business, right, is now, or your lifestyle, I should say, is trying to support your business. That's not what you want, right? You want to make sure that you're structuring things the right way so that your business supports your lifestyle. So, Mark's saying, I think it's actually harder to sell a smaller client than one who is liquid. The liquid mindset person is always way ahead of the game versus trying to educate the more budget-minded one, and they have money. Yes, great point, Mark. So I hope that is kind of these two models and this perspective is one that maybe shifts your mindset a little bit, or adds some value, or gives you something to think about on this Canada Day here. And I know coming up again, 4th of July for everyone in the US. So great to have so many of you join the live. I didn't announce this. I just thought, I just got into the office here and I had this on my mind. So I wanted to just jump on, and I'm glad that some of you were able to join me. But I'll pause just for a moment just to see if there's any specific questions before we wind down here for today. Again, I hope this has given you all something to consider, to look at your business, and to start to see how you can apply these different components to what you're doing. Again, if you want to talk about this and kind of how it applies to your business, if you have further questions, just feel free to reach out, get in touch. You can shoot an email anytime to info@consultingsuccess.com if you'd like. More than happy to help. Nice. Okay. I don't know who this is. It just says LinkedIn user, but it says, we did your consulting success course 7 years ago, and it was the best decision we ever made. We are living our best life. Thank you, Michael and Sam. I'd love to know who you are, LinkedIn user. For some reason, it's just anonymous. Let me know who you are. If you just even put in your first name, that'd be great. Or send me a little message on LinkedIn, but I appreciate that message. Thanks so much. That really means a lot to us, and that's why we do what we do. So, but yeah, any other questions or comments? I'll just hang here for a minute. Okay, yeah. TechNet New England says, I appreciate all the information. A lot to think about, these 6 points. Thank you. You're very welcome. Appreciate your comment, and all of you here for coming on today. And I'm glad that LinkedIn Live is working, because I was having an issue with that. So thank you for everyone that's on LinkedIn right now. Luis, okay, thanks, Luis. Appreciate that. Really nice, thank you. All right, I'll just pause for a minute. I know sometimes it takes a moment for the comments to show up on my side, because I'm using a service that pulls in from LinkedIn and YouTube at the same time, because this video is going live both to YouTube and LinkedIn. So just so I don't miss any other comments, I'll just hang for a minute. All right, everyone. I hope that you found that valuable. I wish you a wonderful rest of the day here. Again, with everything going on in the world, I know it's a challenging time, but us coming together, being part of a community, looking for ways to add as much value and support for those is what we're all about here, and appreciate all of you coming on. Again, if you have any questions, if we can be of help in any way, feel free to just shoot over a message, and we'll try and do our best to point you in the right direction. All right, everyone, take care. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Hope you and your family stay healthy and well, and bye for now.